Hey everyone, it's the one and only magnificent bird, Beak, speaking to you today. And in today's video, I'm back at it with some more raiding with me. As all of you know, and you're probably aware, the raid tournament for this week in RTS has started. And I figured, you know what? Let's go ahead and get some raids in. That way I can give you guys some content, some RTS content this week. And good news, unless something happens at the last second, but I doubt it will. It seems like I'm going to be able to do a CRW video this weekend as War of Champions is upon us for Season 7, I believe. So I'm going to be doing that this weekend, plus I have my next part of Batman Arkham Knight, Part 5, coming out on Friday. That's already, planned out to come out 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And plus I'll do CRW. I'll try to do that Friday, record it Friday, but then I'll try to upload it by Saturday, hopefully. But yeah, and I'm also going to talk a little bit about AEW as well as I'm rating. And before we get started, if you like this video, hit that like button and subscribe if you're not already subscribed. And if you already are subscribed, thank you very much for that. And feel free to leave a comment down below and share this video if you feel like it. If you do any of those 4 things, that would be very much appreciated by me. And I hope all of you are doing good and staying safe out there. I'm doing good and I'm staying safe for the most part. Man, it is it's really hot out there. Here in Virginia, where I live, it got to 99 or 98 today. In Virginia, that's a pretty big deal. Now, I know the West Coast, I know they have to deal with that, plus much hotter. They have to deal with much hotter than 99, 98 all the time, especially during the summer. And I gotta say, I feel bad for all of them that have to put up with that. In Arizona, California, Texas, Nevada. I mean, I know Texas isn't in the West Coast, but you got what I'm saying. That's like kind of in the middle, right? But, so yeah, I think that's all I got. And let's not waste any more time. Let's go ahead and get to raiding with me, shall we? Now, I don't know if any of you or how many of my subscribers are aware of Angry Grandma, but this was some time ago during the summer. During one of her weather reports, in one of them, she said it was as hot as Satan's balls outside. And today, I have to agree, it was. Like, for Virginia, I mean, I get, like I said, Arizona, the West Coast, they have to deal with much hotter, but 98, 99 here, that's a kind of a big deal. It is still, I could imagine it's probably still in the high 80s, and it's past 8 o'clock in my area. I mean, that's, hopefully we'll get some relief, but I don't know. I doubt it. Summer has just started, so it's going to be a hot one. I hate the summer. I truly do, because of the heat. You know what I mean? Now, I used to like the summer, but as I got older, I've resented the summer more and more. The two seasons I like the best is spring and fall. Now, I used to really like winter when I was a kid, but again, when I got older, just like the summer, I just resent the cold so much. So, spring and fall are that sweet spot where it's not too warm and it's not too cold. It's just right. If it was spring and fall all year around, I would be okay with that. I honestly would. Instead of this summer and winter crap. But one good thing that comes out of winter is Christmas. That's about it. That's about it. Now, enough of me just talking about the weather. Let's see. Oh, one thing I also wanted to do, I said I was going to do it, and I'm going to finally get around to doing it. I'll go ahead and do it in this video. I'm going to rank all 6 of the Lone Wolves tunes, and I'm going to do that right now. In the top 3, it was pretty easy. Who's where? However, for the bottom 3, it was a little hard. It was hard to think about and decide. And when I mean the bottom 3, I don't mean that they're terrible tunes. No, I think all 6 of them are really good. It's just that I personally think that some of them have better uses than others do. So, okay, here we go. Number 6, I'm gonna put They Who Wonder. Yes, I know I've said how many times I've said up and down I really want They Who Wonder, but I'm just gonna say this. This is one reason I have him at number 6. I'm not saying he's a bad tune. No. None of these tunes are bad tunes at all. They are all good at one thing or another. However, there are the 5 others which I think have a little bit more usefulness. And you would have thought that I would have put Philip Blake at number 6. No, he's still a little bit higher, but okay, so They Who Wonder, why he's at number 6 is because I simply don't have him, and plus, you can get away with not having They Who Wonder. He's not a necessity for an attacking Lone Wolves team. It would definitely be nice to have him, and I love the fact that he dishes out Daze and Hemorrhage, but I think he's just a tad under my number 5 and my number 4. So, yeah, They Who Wonder, I'm going to have to put him at number 6. And it's not because he's a bad tune. No, he's not. He can still be a very useful tune in a Lone Wolves team, but I think the other 5 pieces are a little bit more integral to have, and if you don't have a majority of the next 5 coming up tunes, a Lone Wolves team, I feel, just won't work as good. So, number 5, I'm gonna put Philip Blake. I was thinking about putting Chance the Traitor at number 5, but here's one reason I'm putting Philip Blake just one spot ahead of They Who Wonder. Philip Blake's leader skill. All alert and strong teammates get 45% attack. At the start of each wave, 3 enemies get crosshairs for 3 turns. And here's an extension to that reason. The leader skill is nice, but here's what puts Philip Blake just a spot above They Who Wonder. That would be intimidation. At the start of each wave, all Lone Wolves Allegiance teammates get 100% counter damage reduction for 3 turns. Without Philip Blake, a Lone Wolves team, I wouldn't say it's going to necessarily crumble, but he's a strong starting foundation for a Lone Wolves team. And plus, that leader skill he has is quite nice. Me personally, I would rather have the Philip Blake leader skill than I would Anniversary Maggie's leader skill, in my personal opinion. Now, in the terms of who's hitting harder, They Who Wonder hits harder than Philip Blake without a doubt, but simply because of Philip Blake's leader skill and the fact that he gives out counter damage reduction to all Lone Wolves teammates. Without that, a Lone Wolves team wouldn't be as good if it was missing Philip Blake. So, while I think They Who Wonder definitely hits harder, he's a little bit more useful than They Who Wonder. As much as that pains me to say that, but it's the truth of the matter. So my number 5 goes to Philip Blake. Now my number 4, I'm going to put Chance the Traitor. And again, I could have flip-flopped between Philip Blake, Chance Traitor, but I'm going to go with Chance the Traitor as my number 4 because he's a command, and especially on an attack team like this, it's going to be really nice to have a command so you can do your adrenaline rushes a turn earlier than you would normally be able to. Plus, the Traitor, he gives out 100% stun resistance. He gives out 50% halo. Plus, he recovers from daze, and his signature move, 3 other teammates will recover from daze if they happen to be dazed, and I think that is quite helpful. So, there you go. That's my reasons for having Chance the Traitor at number 4. Now, at number 3, I'm going to put Forsaken Michonne. So, okay. So, Alright, so Michonne, Forsaken Michonne, she's going to be at number 3. She's just making it in the top 3. That was no doubt about it. The point is, she does a lot of damage. Attack a line of enemies for 600% damage plus 300% damage for each dead enemy. She does a lot of damage. Plus attack an enemy for 700% damage. Great. Plus, this is a really good one for Michonne. If you're coming up against a Zachary team or a Ty team, when Michonne, Forsaken Michonne, when she kills an enemy, 100% chance for her to recover from all penalties. In teams, going up against teams like that, you have no idea how much that helps out. The fact that they don't recover, they don't have any bleed resistance, but if you have Michonne take someone out, she's going to recover all that bleed and whatever else penalties that she has. And plus, she has follow-up too, which, again, when you kill an enemy with Forsaken Michonne, she's going to be able to take another turn and do her adrenaline rush, which is really nice. That's really nice, man. Really is. And you might be asking how I don't have her at number 2 or number 1. I just think the other two that I have listed are just a little bit more important, in my opinion. At number 2, I'm going to have Morgan Unhinged. Yes, you would have thought that I would have maybe put him at number 1, and it was pretty damn close. But I think Eva and Ghost is just a little bit better. Although, by the time this video comes out, I might contradict myself with this list with certain tunes that have come out since. But Morgan Unhinged at number 2, for the simple fact he revives 3 teammates, and he revives 3 teammates with 30% of their max HP, plus he heals by 50% of their max HP for 2 turns, and he confuses 3 random enemies for 1 turn. But before that, if you have him at LB3, this fighter heals for 40% of their max HP for 3 turns, and gets 20 AP, and taunts a random enemy for 2 turns. So once you get a signature move to go off, the next turn he's going to do his adrenaline rush. The next turn, his signature move. The next turn, his adrenaline rush. It's just going to be on and on and on. Once he gets that off the first time, unless he can be dazed or impaired or stunned, there's no stopping it. I mean, you're going to be taunting and confusing for pretty much ever. Plus, his base weapon sucks. But, however, if you put in his hands the Armored Valentine's Day Axe, 50% HP, 50% defense, improved elusive impair, and trait damage reduction. So there's a great chance not only are enemies going to be confused and taunted, if they hit him, there's a great chance that they're going to be impaired as well. And that's a pretty nice, diddly, annoying combo, in my opinion. So number 2 is going to be Morgan Unhinged. And number 1 is going to be Eva and Ghost. I know, but I feel like if you do not have Eva and Ghost, I feel like she's the number 1 important piece to a Lone Wolves team, for the simple fact that she's a normalizer. When this fighter performs a critical hit, they apply normalize for 1 turn to that target. Plus, you wouldn't expect this from Eva and Ghost. I believe sometimes she hits harder than Forsaken Michonne based off of her base weapon, because she has 55% attack, huge bonus to AP when attacking, attack up versus debilitating. When attacking an enemy with a debilitating effect, gain 50% attack. Plus, improved critical expert turns fighter's base crit chance to 100% chance. So she's doing double attack pretty much every turn. And why you would give her another weapon, I don't know. So for the simple fact that she is a surprisingly very good hard hitter, and she's a normalizer, that's why Eva and Ghost is my number 1. So my number 6 is They Who Wonder. Number 5, Philip Blake. Number 4, Chance the Traitor. Number 3, Forsaken Michonne. Number 2, Unhinged, or number 2, Morgan Unhinged. And number 1, Eva and Ghost. There you go. I said I wanted to do that, and I had to think about it before I forgot about it. But how could I forget about it, to be honest? So good. I mean, very good. Now that I've talked about how hot it is, my personal ranking of the Lone Wolves tunes. So let's talk about AEW. So last week I predicted that both Chris Statlander and Pac were going to win their Owen Hart tournament matches, and both of them ended up advancing into the Owen Hart tournament. And we're going to talk about Willow Nightingale just in a second. So Willow Nightingale, her Owen Hart tournament match was against Serena Deeb, and the winner between Anyway, it's the Owen Hart tournament. The winner between Willow Nightingale and Serena Deeb in the Owen Hart tournament is going on to face Chris Statlander. That's going to be important in a second. So, they currently have nothing going on for Serena Deeb right now. However, Chris Statlander and Willow Nightingale, they're setting up a rivalry between them two. So, of course, Willow Nightingale wins that match, and she's going on to face Chris Statlander in the Owen Hart tournament. As to when that match is going to take place, I have no idea. And I'm going to give a prediction on who I think is going to win that match. Personally, I would love to see Chris Statlander win that match, but I think they're going to have Willow Nightingale win that match. That's what I personally think. Hopefully, I'll be wrong on that, because I'm really loving what they're doing with Chris Statlander right now. But, oh, Smiley McGee, Willow Nightingale, I have a sneaking suspicion they're going to let her get the first win on Chris Statlander. That's a feeling I have. Hopefully I'm wrong, but I would hate to be right. I like Willow Nightingale. I like her wrestling ability, but her character, where she smiles too damn much. Like, just stop smiling for once. Just come on. Chris Statlander was your best friend. Chris Statlander was your best friend, Willow Nightingale, and she whooped your ass and turned her back on you. Stop smiling. Get serious. Act like you want to kill her. She's kind of she's talking about, smiling is to help get through pain or something like that. Again, I'm a fan of Willow Nightingale's, well, I should say I like her wrestling ability, but where's she smiling so much? That come on, let's get a little bit more serious about this. I want you to, I want to see, I'm not seeing it by Willow Nightingale. I want to see the fact that she wants to rip Chris Statlander's head off. And I'm not getting that. I mean, maybe whenever they set that match up, who knows, maybe it'll end up being a really good match. I think it will be. I would like to see Chris Statlander win that match, but I think they're going to give it to Willow. For what reason, I don't know, but I have a strong feeling that Willow Nightingale is going to beat Chris Statlander to move on. Now, as far as who's going to face Pac, it comes down to one of two men. At Forbidden Door, Brian Danielson, he's going to be facing, I hope I get his name right. He's from New Japan, so I don't really watch New Japan. Just if they happen to come on AEW, that's where I see them. The guy I'm thinking of Daniel Bryan. the guy that Bryan Danielson is facing is Shinago Takagi. I feel so bad if I said that wrong, but anyway, the Shinago Taki guy from New Japan, he's proclaimed himself to be a dragon or something like that, so that'll probably be a pretty good match. Who do I think is going to win that match? I'm going to go with Bryan Danielson to move on to face Pac. I don't see Bryan Danielson losing so soon in the tournament. Although I could see Bryan Danielson getting far, in fact. But I'm gonna go with Bryan Danielson just because I feel like, between a match between Bryan Danielson and Pac is going to be one hell of a match in my opinion. So I'm gonna go with Bryan Danielson. Now, for the women's side, let's see. I know Mariah May is going to be facing Saraya. She used to be Paige in WWE. Again, I don't know when some of these matches are taking place. And then on another match, we have Deonna Purrazzo. She's taking on, again, I'm trying to think of her name. Anyway, I know Deonna Purrazzo, she's taking someone on in the tournament. If her name comes to mind, I'll say it. But if not, oh well, it ain't no big deal. I'm expecting... Again, I could be wrong, because I think I'm wrong on MJF. I'll explain in a minute. I think Deonna Purrazzo is probably going to win her first match in the Owen Hart tournament. But that's just kind of I'm not too confident on that pick, but that's what I'm going to go with. Because I could see there being a situation... I believe that Mariah May... I feel pretty good on saying that I think Mariah May is probably going to end up beating Saraya. So I could see there being a Deonna Purrazzo and Mariah May matchup in the next round. Because Deonna Purrazzo has history with Timeless Toni Storm, and Deonna, she's also had problems with Mariah May in the past. So maybe they do that matchup. That's what I'm thinking, but again, I could be wrong. Now, for the men's side, I believe Jeff Jarrett has a match in the Owen Hart tournament. However, here's the interesting thing about this. His opponent is a wild card, and that pretty much means his opponent is a mystery opponent at this time. Now, I was thinking that Jeff Jarrett's opponent could possibly be MJF, but I don't think they're going to have MJF go after the world title just yet. I was originally thinking that MJF was going to be getting a world title shot by entering the Owen Hart tournament and winning the whole thing on the men's side. But because it seems like MJF wants to take on Daniel Garcia at All In Wembley Stadium. I'm not sure why they're doing that match. I mean, again, that match could be pretty decent, but right now, I don't know. Here's one opponent I had in mind for Jeff Jarrett. It possibly, now, depending on when the Jeff Jarrett Owen Hart tournament match takes place, I could see his opponent being Will Ospreay. Now, I know Will Ospreay has a world title match this Sunday against Swerve Strickland at Forbidden Door. But here's the thing. I don't see Will Ospreay beating Swerve Strickland his first try. Hell, it took Swerve Strickland 2 tries to end up winning the world title, as he come up short against Samoa Joe and Adam Page in a triple threat match back in March, which Swerve Strickland wasn't the one pinned or submitted, but still, they made Swerve Strickland look strong, but not by him not winning the title, but he also didn't take the pinfall or submission in the triple threat match. Adam Page took the submission from Samoa Joe, and then the next month, Swerve Strickland got another world title match one-on-one against Samoa Joe, and he beat Samoa Joe. So, I don't think Will Ospreay is going to be winning this Sunday, and I think that's going to be okay. I don't think that's going to really hurt Will Ospreay's momentum that much. Now, depending on when the Jeff Jarrett Owen Hart tournament match takes place, I could easily see Will Ospreay being Jeff Jarrett's opponent, because we don't know when that match is going to take place. I mean, this isn't 100% confirmed, by the way. This is just me guessing at this point. Perhaps they do Swerve Strickland and Will Ospreay number 2 at All In Wembley. It wouldn't be a bad idea. Hey, I wouldn't complain about it at all. I'm looking forward to seeing what Will Ospreay can do against Swerve Strickland. I think it's going to be a damn good match. But I don't see Swerve Strickland dropping the title so soon. Perhaps they do it in Wembley and they just wait and they have Will Ospreay win the Owen Hart tournament. I could very much see that. I could see that happening. Now, for the other men's match, it's going to be Jay White versus Ray Phoenix. And Ray Phoenix, he's a part of the Death Triangle group. A part of the Bastard Pack is a part of that group, and hold on, I'll think of his name. There's a third member. I cannot think of his name right now, but anyway, who do I think is going to win that match? I think Jay White is probably going to win that match, because that could inevitably set up for Jay White versus Will Ospreay, assuming that's the direction they go in for the Jeff Jarrett match. I did watch a little bit of Dynamite, and that's how I know that MJF is probably not going to be entering. That's how I know that MJF isn't going to be entering that tournament, because he went on about wanting to face Daniel Garcia at All In Wembley. I think it's All In. I know they have a pay-per-view called All Out. I hope I'm not mixing the two up, but the pay-per-view that they do in Wembley, that's the designation. Which I don't know why he wants to do that, but I guess maybe they are going to have a extended long wait for MJF to get back to the world title, as that could definitely be the case. Now, at Forbidden Door, Timeless Toni Storm is going to be putting up her AEW Women's World Championship against Mina Shikawa. I hope I'm saying that right. She's a part of another wrestling promotion called Stardom. And I think that's going to be a really good match. I see Toni Storm coming out with the W on that one. I think they might be waiting for Wembley Stadium for Toni Storm, for her to drop the title. Now, here's the interesting thing. Mariah May, who is she's allied with Timeless Toni Storm, and Toni Storm got Mariah May a place in the tournament. I could see Mariah May going all the way and winning the tournament. It wouldn't be a crazy idea. And she ends up turning on Toni Storm. That would be a good match. I'm not gonna lie, I would definitely be into that match. That would be a match of the night candidate for me personally, because I'm loving what they're doing with Timeless Toni Storm and Mariah May, and what they're doing right now with Mina Shikawa. Oh, so good, in my opinion. So good. But that, I mean, not a lot of y'all might not think that, but in my opinion, that match between Toni Storm and Mina Shikawa, oh, that's gonna be a good match. I mean, their promos and their segments they've been really great. They really have, because they're fighting for the custody of Mariah May, and they're not putting that officially on the line, but you know, one of them wants Mariah May on her side, the other wants the same thing, and you know, I would love to be a part of that on any side, in any of the parties involved. Great stuff, in my opinion. Great stuff. And do I have anything? Oh, there is one more thing I wanted to talk about regarding what happened last week. Swerve Strickland and Will Ospreay had a face-to-face last week, and Swerve Strickland, he's kind of playing up to a little bit of being a little heelish during the face-to-face, because near the end of their face-to-face, Swerve Strickland, he asked Will Ospreay. He says to him, what if I want to make this personal between you and I? You know, you are going to have to sacrifice the things that you love, Will, and that would include your wife and your son. And that's when Will Ospreay, he gets pissed off. He's like, whoa, whoa, whoa. He puts his hand over Swerve Strickland's mic, and he's like, don't you ever dare bring up my son or my wife into this. And before the face-to-face is getting ready to end, you have Prince Nana over there who's saying, whose house is this? And the crowd usually responds with saying Swerve's house, but as they're getting ready to say that, Will Ospreay cuts him off and say, this is my damn house, and he leaves the ring. Then this is where Swerve Strickland, he feels disrespected when he said that, and he's like, Will, don't you dare, don't you leave. He's like, I hold on, wait a minute, I got a question for you. I got one question for you. You know, that's when he said, what if I want to make this personal between us? And he said, I got one more thing to say to you before you head on out of here. He says to Will Ospreay, send my regards to your son and your wife. Oh man, that match is going to be fantastic. That's going to be match of the night, in my opinion. That's why I think they want to do it again in Wembley. That's why I don't think Will Ospreay is going to be winning. He can take the one loss, and it's not really going to hurt his momentum at all, as he hasn't lost a match yet in 2024. Now, here's an element I didn't think about. The Don Callis family, that's the faction that Will Ospreay is a part of. I could very much see the Don Callis family turning on Will Ospreay, because during that face-to-face, Swerve Strickland, he asks Will Ospreay, you know, I feel like you're gonna need the Don Callis family to help you cheat to try to beat me. And he's like, that shit ain't gonna happen. And this is why I think the Don Callis family might turn on Will Ospreay, because Will Ospreay says, hell no, I don't need the Don Callis family to beat you. So I don't know if they're going to get involved in the world title match and potentially cost him that match, or if they're going to turn on him afterward. I could see that happen very soon, if not already. So I think Swerve Strickland is going on to win at Forbidden Door to retain. I think Timeless Tony Storm is going on to retain. I think Bryan Danielson, he's going on to win his Owen Hart tournament match. I think, personally, I could see Mariah May winning the whole Owen Hart tournament on the women's side. And I potentially could see Will Ospreay enter the men's side of the Owen Hart tournament at the last minute and go on to win the whole thing. So we potentially could be looking at Will Ospreay winning the men's side, and we potentially could see Mariah May win on the women's side. I think that's the direction they're going to go in, but I could be wrong. But I'm going to go with a 75% chance that that's going to happen. Now, I know I'm not a betting man, but oh no, I wouldn't bet on it, but I would say that's not a bad guess on either side, because you have storylines on both sides of those winners. I could see that being very likely. But, we'll see. I don't know. Now, like I said, coming up for the rest of the week, on Friday, I'm going to have part 5 of my playthrough of Batman Arkham Knight coming around 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then it seems like I'm going to be able to finally do a CRW video for once. Holy crap. I highly doubt they're canceling that because War of Champions is upon us. So, I kind of messed up there, but we can correct that mistake here in a minute. I should have targeted Vance first. That was my bad. Yeah, see, I should have... Yeah, see, I messed up here. I'm probably still going to win, but this would have been over now if I would have... Yeah, see, here we go. Ooh. I think we got it. We got it. And then I'm planning on doing the Yumiko, the Gold Mythic Yumiko character review, the current War of Champions tune. But I'll be honest, that's probably going to come out next weekend because of the fact that I'm going to do a CRW video this weekend. So I'll get that out early next week, if that's alright with you guys. I think that'll work better for me. Personally, if I wasn't going to do a CRW video, I would go ahead and do it this weekend, but you know what? She's been delayed, and you know, usually they don't like to come out with the War of Champions tunes right until War of Champions actually starts. So, again, I've heard that the OG Gold Mythic Yumiko is better than the War of Champions. I'm very curious to do that character review just based off of someone saying that in Discord or Facebook. It was one of the two. I don't know. The OG Gold Mythic Yumiko wasn't even all that great, to be honest, but to say that a War of Champions tunes sucks less than an old gen Gold Mythic tune, that's quite interesting. I don't know. I'm very interested to do that character review because I have no idea. I have no idea what's in her kit. I haven't watched any videos, nothing. All I've seen is a picture of the brand new War of Champions Yumiko. I do know she's coming, but I'll get a first look at her when I do that character review. So it'll be interesting. I'm intrigued to see what she's all about. To see how she potentially might be worse than an old gen Gold Mythic Toon. That'll be kind of interesting, in my opinion. Maybe I ought to do two more refills and then call it. Because this video is going to be uploaded sometime on Thursday. Because this is, for me, this is vacation week. Now, you might have heard me talk about that before. What vacation week is in RTS, I'll show you real quick what I'm talking about. Right here. So, when the league season is on its final week, I only log into the game 8 p.m. my time to do the Battle Pass daily challenges if level up is required or raiding with me. I have not raided all week until now. That's how serious I take this vacation. But I'll be on the game this weekend. Unfortunately, they messed up my vacation week a little bit. But it's been nice not being on the game all day, all week. I've been on it every day, just long enough to do arenas and to do the Battle Pass daily challenges. But as soon as I get done with all of that, I delete the application until 8 p.m. the next day. It's quite nice, in my opinion. Like, I did, you know how many survival road stages I done this week? I done 8 total. Yeah, that's all. I'm all about not using refills except when it comes to the raid tournament. Well, I will be using them for war, for CRW as well, but I try to put in as little minimum effort as possible during vacation week. I'll probably hit the 200,000 milestone on CRW, and I probably won't war no more this weekend. So, I'm going to participate, but I'm going to do the minimum as possible. But then next week I'll be back at it. Because, I mean, with the league season, I'm in Diamond 3 right now. You can't move up to Diamond 4, and you can't move down to Diamond 2, or Gold 3, or Platinum 3 to, 4 to 2. You can't. So, why put the effort in? That's the way I do it. When it's every other week, okay, I can see why you would put the effort into it, but on the last week, when you can't move up to Diamond 4 until the new season starts, and you can't be demoted or promoted, so I don't put the effort in on the final week of each league season. I put the bare minimum in. Just like right now, once I hit 16,000 raid points, I won't raid again the rest of this week. No matter what place I end up. That's just the way I roll on vacation week. I'll be a little bit more active for CRW for sure to get that big milestone of 200,000. But once I hit the 200,000 milestone, I probably won't war for the rest of the weekend, to be completely honest. just long enough to do the battle pass daily challenges, keep my login streak alive, which is sitting at well over 1,000 days. Which I know there was like one or two other people that had a longer login streak than mine, which I thought mine was impressive, but no, not according to one or two other people I talked to. I'm like, holy crap, that's actually impressive. Which I'm trying to get there, but I log in the game every day for over 1,000 days so far. So it's like, if I had to estimate a guess, it's over 1,300 some days, I think. I could be off by a couple. I know it's over 1,000, definitely. I want to say over 1,300 for. I won't say for sure, but I think I'm almost on the money on that one. We'll do one more refill, and then I'm gonna call it. Man, I had a mouthful to talk about, but that's okay. I like doing these videos, and I like talking to y'all and just telling you my interest. Other interests that's outside of Walking Dead. And like I said, I mentioned it. I started up the Mass Effect Legendary Edition trilogy once again, and currently I'm on Mass Effect 2, my favorite Mass Effect out of the three, in my opinion, the best Mass Effect. I don't think the second one's ever going to be topped, in my opinion, but I mean, I won't, I just feel like the gameplay is better than the first one, and the storyline that's taking place in the second one, it really raises the stakes compared to the first one. Although, I don't know, though, I might have to hold back on that, because the stakes that take place in the third game might be a little bit higher, but don't get it twisted. The stakes that are raised in Mass Effect 2 are pretty high as well. But in my opinion, I think Mass Effect 2 is still the best Mass Effect, and it's my personal favorite of the three. And I'm enjoying getting back into that trilogy. One of my favorite gaming trilogies, I would say, of probably all time, to be honest with you. Because, we got Resident Evil 2 Remake, a very good game. Resident Evil 3 Remake, which, it's not as bad as people say it is, but it is extremely short, and it easily could have been a DLC to add on to number 2, to be honest with you, but it's not as bad as people say, but it is a tad disappointing, but still not like total garbage. Then we have Resident Evil 4 Remake, which I truly believe is the best of those three in my personal opinion, and Leon S. Kennedy, he absolutely whoops ass in that game, and I feel like he's a much improved character in number 4 than he is in number 2. He's okay in number 2, but he's much better in number 4, in my opinion. And that's pretty much all I got for you guys for today. If you have any thoughts on The Walking Dead, Road to Survival, The Walking Dead in general, or anything else that I talked about, feel free to let me know down in the comments. I want to thank each and every one of you for stopping by and for your continued support. Or if you're new, welcome in for the first time. All of you are very awesome, and I thank you again. And don't forget to hit the bell and switch on all notifications so you know the second I upload to YouTube. I am Beak, and I'm gonna go fly away back to my nest. Until next time, bye guys.